hi, it's the end of December and I've only managed to read 2 more books in the second half of the month. I did say that December just seems to run away with me. I read 2. The first one was The Offing by Benjamin Myers, and this is a super really sort of pastoral book. It evokes a time in the past, a time that doesn't exist anymore. It's set after the Second World War, and you've got 16-year-old Robert, who is destined for life in the pits like his father and his father before him. And he sets off from his village, which is near Durham, on an adventure. He wants to see the coast. He wants to just experience life before he goes underground. And so you have this beautiful writing as Benjamin Myers takes us with Robert across country. And Robert ends up on a little cottage near Robin Hood's Bay, where he meets Dulcie, who is a woman of indeterminate age. I think she's late 40s, early 50s. She could be late 50s, early 60s, whatever. She's a real free spirit. She's bohemian outlook on life. She lives life as she wants to live it, not how society thinks. And she introduces Robert to food he's never tasted, to poetry, to literature. And whereas before he's sort of done a few jobs, been fed, and he's moved on and moved on and moved on. This is how he's been making his way across country. He ends up staying with Dulcie for the whole of the summer. And she feels that there's something in him that she can nurture, which is why she's introducing him to all these food and books, etc. But for him, he unlocks for her memories from the past. He opens doors that she's kept closed for a long time. So it's a gorgeous read. I love Benjamin Myers' work. I've only come across him this year, and I've read 3 of his books. So that was the first one. The second one I read was An Ark, and it comes out on the 22nd of February, and it's called Mungle by Hanako Footman. And this is a debut novel, but it's absolutely masterful the way it all works together. You've got 3 young women, and it's their narratives, and everything weaves together in a way that you don't really see until the end. And the lyricism in the writing is gorgeous. You've got 3 points of view, 3 narrations. You've got Maiko, who is a Japanese English girl who lost her mother at an early age and is struggling with her sexuality. And we follow her as she navigates teenage life. Yuki is a violinist, and she leaves her home in Japan to go to the UK because she wants to become a successful violinist. But she gets taken under the wing by a much older tutor. And then you've got Haruka, who lives with her grandparents on their farm in Japan. And she is a girl who's lost her mother. And it's her struggling with her grief and her grandparents' grief as well. So it's a book that is full of sadness, really. There's a lot of sorrow in here, and a warning, there's self-harm in here as well. But there's very little joy in here. But you follow these 3 girls. They are very, very different personalities. And you follow them, and then you see how everything comes together at the end. And it's a super debut novel. So those are the 2 books that I read in the second half of December. My book of December, it's going to be one that I read last month, and it is Joelle Taylor's The Night Alphabet, which I found so inventive and this weaving together of the stories by this woman who goes to this tattoo parlour to get a final inking, to have an inking that will link all of her tattoos together, and it's her telling her stories, the story behind them, how each tattoo has a special significance, and it's a reminder of a time when she disappeared into a different life and was a different person for a while. A beautifully inventive book, and so that is my book with the month for December. So I'm going to close off now and do another video looking at my statistics for the year, because I'm very interested to see what my reading stats are for this year. So happy reading, take care,